the man who directed the movie Black Panther was arrested for robbing a bank. But he did not rob a bank. He simply went to make a withdrawal. He's obviously a multimillionaire. And the bank teller thought he was trying to rob the place. Let me give you background on this story that is just coming to light. His name is Ryan Coogler. Black Panther director Ryan Coogler was mistaken for a bank robber at a Metro Atlanta Bank of America. He was detained, according to the police reports that we just got access to. Let me remind you of the iconic movie Black Panther. Chadwick Boseman, who passed away because of his battle with cancer, has put up a picture of them side by side. One of the most successful movies in the history of movie making. The director was in Atlanta on business. I will share that business in a minute. The incident unfolded January 7th, 2022 at the Bank of America at 1280 West Paces Ferry Road. Now that is supposed to be an affluent part of the city. When police responded to reports of a man trying to rob the bank, according to an Atlanta Police Department report, a Bank of America employee called police after Coogler passed him a filled out slip to withdraw money with a note written on it asking for the bank teller to be discreet with the transaction. Makes sense to me. The man is withdrawing 10,000 bucks. It is his account. He filled it out properly. His name is there. His ID is there. He writes on it, and please listen, just give me the cash discreetly. I don't want everybody knowing I'm walking out of the bank with $10,000 cash, okay? Simple request. Officers determined, well, actually, when officers arrived at the scene, okay? When officers arrived at the scene, Coogler was still inside the bank. You know why he was still inside the bank? Because it wasn't robbing the bank. Officers brought him outside, handcuffed him as they investigated. So he gets arrested, they handcuff him. Officers determined that Coogler was attempting to withdraw his own damn money. A cash amount valued over 10,000 bucks. The bank teller received a notification from Coogler's account and told her manager that he was trying to rob the bank. Now, let me bring some common sense to this situation. Banks are facilities that hold our money. I literally work and then I let the bank hold my money because the bank benefits by the interest accrued on that money. So they hold my money. I'm not mandated by law to do this. I do this as an option, a choice. And then I go to get the money that I've worked for, and you put me under arrest for trying to get my own money back. That is what happened to this major film director. Officers determined that the incident was a mistake by Bank of America, and Coogler was released. Two people who Coogler was with were also detained and released. Bank of America apologized to Coogler, and he was allowed to go on his way. I'm sure this was very embarrassing for this young, dynamic star who is very good at his craft. Bank of America issued a statement confirming the incident, writing, "We deeply regret that this incident occurred. It never should have happened, and we have apologized to Mr. Coogler." Here's the problem, Bank of America. This likely happened because you have some structural issues in the culture of your company. While you may release a statement indicating that this is simply a mistake, an accident, an isolated incident, I beg to differ. I think this was connected to a deeper culture inside of your company. Do you think if that would have been a white male who simply wrote all of his information, identified himself, put his identification with the withdrawal slip and said, listen, and make sure it's discreet, do you think the police would have been called on that individual? There was nothing here to indicate that a bank robbery was taking place. Nothing. Nothing. Coogler directed the original Black Panther, which was also the highest grossing film of all time by a black director. He has been in Atlanta directing the Black Panther sequel, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. And because of the sheer amount of people who flocked to see Black Panther, the film took in an eye-opening 1.3+ billion at the worldwide box office. Okay, so you got to talk about the elephant that's in the room. Put his picture up again. He walks into a bank. They don't know that he's a multi-millionaire film director, and honestly, it should not matter. You mean to tell me that when he filled out his slip, his withdrawal slip, that the person he handed it to did not even bother to put in the information to verify that he had access to these funds? That he was in fact a consumer at Bank of America? You mean to tell me they did not do the basic thing and simply verify the account before calling the police? Ms. Tucker, what are your thoughts on this?
Okay, so boom, we already know how this got started. Like you said, common sense is not that common. Had that person check the account, check the name and verify ID the way they were supposed to, and went through the proper protocols, we wouldn't be here right now. But here we are. Bank of America, if you didn't have the money, you should have just said that. We know Bank of America going through it because everybody with the little EDD and PPP and stuff then took all the Bank of America money. But y'all didn't have to do them like that. And I think an apology is not enough, because if we were to disrespect any other entity in the way that this Black man was disrespected, we would be canceled, it'd be all over the news, we would have a whole issue. So hopefully that teller, who was not trained properly, clearly is no longer working there. But I think apology is not enough. They need to be held accountable, and they need to change their practices and how they're training their employees.
Yeah, and that's the issue. They have not come out with a proclamation about them changing practices or making sure there's additional training or even some level of discipline for violating protocol.